Hi Stephen, thanks for the footage. Just in regards to the question you sent via email the other night, sorry I've been a little bit late getting back to you on this one, but I figured I'd do it on the recap rather than send you an email in regards to this. The answer to your question regarding the arms staying on the rib cage is yes, you are doing the right thing. The more you can get the arms to stay on the rib cage, the more coordination you're going to have, or the more synchronization you're going to have between your arms and your body, and that in turn is going to produce a much more consistent ball flight. In regards to your technique, I think initially, yes, you may be reaching for it a little bit at address. You could do with getting a little bit closer to that golf ball. However, the key issues I've got at the moment are, first of all, when we look at the setup from face on, we've got a very high left side. So you can see there, compared to Charlie Wee, his shoulders are that little bit more level than we see with yourself. Usually when you see a player with his right shoulder as low as that compared to his left, he's also now very shut off in the forearms. So a good way of policing this is, rather than concern yourself with leveling the shoulders up, simply try and get the right and the left forearm to be a little bit more level at address. That in turn is going to give you a much more neutral looking setup, as we see here with Charlie Wee, rather than a little bit of a manufactured setup like we're seeing here with yourself, with too much shoulder tilt originally before we start. Anybody who's so shut off is then going to get this club working back very much on the inside. You can see there, as the club goes back, stays very low to the ground, starts to roll behind you very early. Now the setup doesn't help with that, but also for my mind, you're not left tilting enough as you take the club back. If I put a little line here down your spine, I'll put a line at right angles to that, and then I do the same with Charlie Wee here over on the right hand side, and again a line down there. You can see there you are reaching for the ball, consequently you tend to stand a little bit taller as you're further away. Charlie's a little bit more over it with his arms hanging a little bit more naturally, and the forearms are parallel to the line on which he wants to swing. From that position, if we take a little look at what happens with Charlie, he's going to start the takeaway, but just look down the bottom here on the right hand side. He's going to start the takeaway by working the left shoulder down, and he's going to work the left shoulder down continuously from P1 through P2 and into P3. So the left shoulder's working down from P1 to P2 to P3. So he's turning, extending and left tilting continuously at a good rate. If he does that, he's able to stay nice and centered. If you watch what happens with yourself, the tendency is to sort of initially start to left tilt, but then really here the left shoulder starts to work across, and you start to extend too much to make up for the lack of left tilt. So what we're seeing here now is you are turning, you are left tilting, but you're also overextending. So instead of having a nice upright spine, as we see here with Charlie, you're tilting towards the target a little bit too much at the top of the backswing. If we look at it from down the line, as he tilts left, turns and extends at a good rate, you can see that his shoulders are turning at 90 degrees to the angle of his spine. If we take a little look at yourself, what we're going to see here now is that the left shoulder is quite high at that point, and the right shoulder is quite low. So whereas Charlie's shoulders are working parallel, or at 90 degrees should I say, to his spine angle, your shoulders have worked a little bit too level, and as a result the club has got rolled behind you, sets a little bit flat, and then from there now you've just made it quite easy to attack it too much from the inside and throw the club out away from you too much. So initially, before you do anything, I would suggest you work extensively with T-pegs beneath your arms. Put them beneath both arms to help give you the feeling of the arms staying on the rib cage throughout the swing. I'd also consider left tilting much longer from setup From a more level shoulder position at setup, the key thought would be to continuously tilt to the left from P1 setup to P3. Keep the left shoulder working down rather than left shoulder working across and then extending to stay centered. And if you want to develop this and you want to create a feel for this, simply stabilize your head against the frame of a door or against the wall and make some swings. If you're not left tilting enough, you're going to start to drift off the wall as you go back. So we're going to look at a much more stable head position. You can see here, we put that line down there. Charlie's head will be up against the wall, and if he continues, if he left tilts, turns and extends at the correct rate, he's not going to move off that wall. There's a little bit of movement off it during the downswing, but nothing substantial. Take a little look at yourself. Down the line. Initially we moved into it. You can see there, moving into the wall, and then from there you're going to back up off it on the way through. But that movement into the wall there is my main concern. I'd like to see your left tilt a little bit earlier, level up the shoulders, and all in all just continue the work that you're doing within stack and tilt. Good luck with it, and I look forward to getting some feedback from this video lesson. Well done.